What are the intranasal valves? From the surface anatomy, here are the anatomical landmarks, which are the depressions created on deep vigorous inspiration. Right under here lie the intranasal valves, the narrowest parts of the nasal cavities. They constitute the area of highest resistance to airflow, which using Bernoulli's principle creates the Venturi effect. This Venturi effect creates a marked negative pressure in the area of the turbinate, all the openings of the sinuses, the eustachian tubes, and the nasolacrimal ducts, thus suctioning out the secretions out of all of them. The intranasal valves play a very significant role in sinus, internal ear, and nasolacrimal ventilation. An empty stomach is the size of one's fist, and on consuming food can expand to the size of about a gallon, which is 3.78 liters. The pH of gastric acid is around 1.5, which makes it very concentrated acid. A combination of acid, various digestive enzymes, IgA, antimicrobial peptides, and the microbiome in the stomach makes a very effective combination for killing almost all pathogens. Those that escape the very hostile environment of the stomach are denatured in the duodenum by the bile salts, which are very strong detergents and break down the walls and envelopes of pathogens. It is very strategic to do the Verma method on empty stomach to avoid the dilutional effect from a full stomach. Hence, after brushing my teeth in the morning, the first thing I do is the method. I find the most convenient and easiest way to do is sit-ups. The function of the secretions in the nasal cavities, sinuses, nasopharynx, oropharynx, nasolacrimal ducts, the eustachian tubes, and the lower respiratory tract is to trap the viruses, bacteria, allergens, and toxins and expel them out using the mucociliary escalators and the Venturi effect from the intranasal valves. These secretions are rich in more than 100 antimicrobial peptides, IgA, microbiomes, and reactive oxygen species like hydrogen peroxide and nitric oxide, which directly increases mucociliary clearance. Most infectious agents enter the human body through the various mucous membranes, especially those of the respiratory tract. Hence, it is the subject of singular importance in the fields of microbiology and immunology. These infectious processes bring IgM to mucosal surfaces. In addition, the epithelial cells in the respiratory tracts possess phagocytic abilities. My method, which fully uses the positive aspects of the Venturi effect, suctions out all the trapped miscreants. When swallowed, they face the very hostile environment of stomach and are denatured. The upper respiratory tract secretes about a quart, 946 milliliters, about 1 liter secretions every day. Humans constantly swallow these secretions unconsciously. It is very important to get past the taboo that it's secretions and to reframe the negative dogma about it, which has no scientific basis. The importance of Bernoulli's principle and Venturi effect deserves extra emphasis. During performance of the method, it's very important to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Swallowing in the lying position makes gravity help direct the secretions posteriorly towards the esophagus. Breathing out forcefully through the nose is the equivalent of blowing in through the wrong ends of the valves. Vigorously breathing out through the nose will create positive intranasal pressure and push in the secretions packed with pathogens into sinuses, nasolacrimal ducts, and eustachian tubes. The most common portal of entry for viruses, bacteria, fungi, danders, pollens, allergens, and toxins is the respiratory tract. And in almost all cases, the target cells are at the portal of entry. Most miscreants and droplets are filtered in the nasal cavity, sinuses, and nasopharynx, and through the mucociliary mechanism are directed towards the esophagus to be swallowed unconsciously into the stomach. Nose blowing does not move air through the sinuses to evacuate them. Nose blowing increases the intranasal pressure by 70 millimeters of mercury, thus pushing the pathogens-laden secretions into the sinuses, nasolacrimal ducts, and the eustachian tubes. Nose blowing has no scientific support and is hurtful not only to the individual but also to the community because of germy hands which spread diseases. The sinuses depend on mucociliary clearance, and when secretions fail to exit the sinuses, they become vulnerable to microbial colonizations and its complications. Pathogenic species establish residence in the form of biofilms, which provide pathogens with resistance to systemic antibiotics and topical medications. Pathogens in these biofilms produce various factors that successfully interfere with host innate immunity and promote their survival and spread. Elucidating and helping the innate airway epithelial defense mechanisms are particularly very important for preventive measures in light of rising prevalence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Ensuring preventive measures begin long before a crisis and are crucial to adapting to emerging health threats both locally and globally. The simplicity and reliability of the intranasal valves and the Venturi effect they produce are of marked significance for prevention. They act like vacuum pumps which are pneumatically driven using air pressure. The Venturi effect works efficiently in all positions. The effect of gravitational acceleration pull facilitates the suctioning out of sinuses, nasolacrimal ducts, and the eustachian tubes, which can be felt as a pull of the internal ears inwards. It is of help to practice the exercises of the method in different positions. The size of the nose, nasal cavity, and its components are unique among individuals. Environmental variations in humidity and temperature have led to changes in the anatomy of the nose within our evolutionary ancestors. Thus, human noses adapted by natural selection to climate that their owners inhabited. Anatomical variations are present in very significant number of persons. These variations in turbinates can obstruct the openings of the sinuses to some degree. Thus, practicing the method in different positions is of help. The timely practice of the method is of utmost importance. For very good quality results, practice it every morning on an empty stomach and again before going to bed at night on an almost empty stomach, thus preventing dilution effect on acid and other pathogens denaturing substances. Also of much importance is doing it briefly and as soon as possible after exposure to crowds, after travel, and after visits to restaurants. The earlier the method is done, the faster the trigger to the processes to neutralize the pathogens and allergens and toxins, thus helping prevent infections, inflammation, and biofilms formation. Delaying it and doing it late will not benefit. The method complements vaccines and is an ally of vaccines. I believe it will be especially very useful in low and middle income countries where there are usually delays in vaccine availability. One of the best benefits of the method is that it does not necessarily need any special equipment. It can be done on a sofa, a chair, on a mat on the floor, on a bench, on the beach, anywhere. Performing the method using calisthenic exercises, breathing exercises as part of relaxation and meditation techniques are also helpful. Timing is everything when dealing with the immune system. Make sure to get the timing correct with the method. Do not wait until feeling sinus pain, pressure or fullness in the face and the ears. The intranasal valves are a gift from nature. It is like having a vacuum cleaner in each nostril. A full use of these can be made using the method. The method can be tailored according to person's age, physical condition, and choice. The method is straightforward and science-based. It can be very useful in regions of the planet above the Tropic of Cancer and those below the Tropic of Capricorn, where autumn and winter set in early and people spend more time indoors. The same applies to areas with very hot summers where people spend time indoors for air conditioning. I can't go into too much details in this video. Please read the details in the discussion section of this article.